So the next topic of discussion is scuba diving, cave diving life-saving tips. So cave diving can be fun and exhilarating, but it is important to ensure that you're following the proper safety protocols to avoid accidents and injury. And so a lot of these tips are going to be based on my favorite scuba diving YouTube channel, Dive Talk. And so while I have explored some cenotes, I have not really done too much scuba diving in caves. So this is really just a research-based video based on all of the probably hundreds of YouTube videos that I've watched from Dive Talk. And so I definitely recommend that you check out Dive Talk for live, real-time video entertainment on cave diving and things to do. Here, this video is going to be about basically my summarizing of tips that I've learned from Dive Talk, but also tips that I've learned from my own personal experience from normal scuba diving. Now, one of the big things that they tell you in Dive Talk is that normal open oceans advanced scuba diving is not the same as cave diving. So, again, I am not a cave diver. This research is simply research based on all the different things that I've learned from watching Dive Talk and from researching cave diving in general. It's not necessarily from myself diving cave dives. But I do have a lot of upper level experience diving, mostly for NOAA as a professional scuba diver for them. And we'll just jump right in. So first and foremost, you should check out my scuba diving general tips that I posted a video about most recently. That video is very detailed and it will lay out tips that you should account for prior to diving, during your dive, and after your diving. And so definitely check out that video. Ideally before you watch this video, because that video will lay out just general diving for you and general tips. And this video will be more about cave diving. And so tip number 1 for life-saving scuba diving tips for cave diving, the number 1 tip is get certified for diving in caves. Get training, get certified, get qualified, get specific training to cave diving. Only dive within your training and your experience level. And when it comes to diving in caves, you definitely want to make sure that you're certified for doing so. It is important to hold an actual technical certification. Only dive within your training and experience level. And so it is very important to hold an actual technical certification in cave diving because how risky and dangerous it is. Number 2, go cave diving with an experienced dive team and dive buddy. You definitely want to make sure that since cave diving is a more technical skill and evolution, you will want to have a more technical and skillful and experienced dive buddy and dive team. There are more dangers to diving in caves, and therefore you're going to want to have a better team, more experienced team, and better equipment when you're doing a cave dive to ensure that you're going about the dive in a safe way and really minimizing your risks prior to diving and during your dive. Number 3, never go it alone or with others that are just not experienced or trained in cave diving. Before you enter the water, be sure to plan your dive and dive your plan. Be sure to consider the duration of the dive, the total bottom time, decompression stops, and other factors that you're going to want to know prior to climbing into the water. So plan what equipment will be used, maintenance your equipment, test all equipment, and definitely identify currents, springs, or siphons. You'll want to know if the cave is a siphon or other flow type. It is definitely important because it will really affect the water flow inside and really make more air and energy be needed for going from places from A to B. And so if there's a current or flow inside the cave, you may need to utilize more energy and more air to get from A to B, and therefore you really want to consider these flows prior to diving. When you experience the flows, you'll want to maybe consider ending your dive a little early because the flow may impact how much energy and air you're going to consume in order to get out of the cave. Number 4, you'll definitely want to maintain backup equipment, and it is usually recommended that you have like 2 or 3 or more lights just in case one starts to stop working within the dive. And tip number 5, maintain a line that allows you to find your way out during silt outs. When you're lost or you're unable to find your way out, a line can definitely be a life-saving piece of equipment to help you find your way to the exit. Number 6, know your emergency plan and signals. Be communicative during your dive. Monitor your air consumption and communicate with your team as you go. Be aware of your surroundings and really be aware of your team during the dive. Tip number 7, ascend and descend at the proper rates. Definitely you don't want to risk decompression sickness by ascending and descending at too quick of a rate. And you definitely want to ensure that you are taking your decompression stops. Tip number 8, be aware of your dive buddies and the surrounding environment. Tip number 9, when you are cave diving, you should really utilize a froggy kick instead of what I consider a freestyle kick. So that froggy kick will mitigate your ability to silt out the cave and impact your visibility. So you really want to adjust your kick to minimize how much silt out or sediment you're going to disturb. You don't want to disturb the sediment on the floor or the walls and disturb it in a way that it will create less visibility in the cave itself. And so definitely adjust your kick and don't touch the walls or the seafloor because this may impact your ability to see and impact your visibility within the cave. Tip number 10, avoid touching or disturbing the environment, including walls, flooring of the cave, and other things. You definitely don't want to cause a silt out or black out the area that you're diving in. You definitely want to foster a great visibility throughout your dive because it can really affect how safe the dive is and how enjoyable the dive is, because if you cannot see, it's just not as enjoyable of an experience. I for one would think that diving without visibility would be a little bit creepy, and if you can't see, what are you really experiencing within that dive? So definitely avoid silting out, avoid touching or disturbing the environment or the surroundings around you. Try to foster the best visibility during your dives because it can really affect your safety, your risks, and also your enjoyment within the dive itself. Tip number 11, definitely be careful of incorrect exits because they can definitely lead you toward getting lost. So the way that you can definitely do this is follow the tip that we have already mentioned above. Definitely use a line. When you use a line, you can avoid getting lost, avoid following someone into a exit that is not an actual exit. There have been case studies where individuals will think that they're going toward the exit and get trapped into a area that is not very easy to navigate their way out. And people will, get lost and not leave this area. They will die in this area. And the way that you can easily avoid this situation is by making sure that you have a line to the exit and follow this line. This can really help you avoid going to incorrect exits or getting lost. Stay alive by utilizing a line and making sure that you follow the line to the exit within your cave dives. And, as Dive Talk always clarifies, one of the major rules for cave diving is definitely maintain a line. This is one of the most important things to ensuring that you do not get lost in a cave and that you're able to find your way out. Tip number 12, stay calm in an emergency. You can always most effectively respond within an emergency if you are staying calm. But if you are not calm, it will be more difficult to find your way to safety and to respond within your emergency. So definitely try to stay calm and breathe and try to relax as much as possible, because also when you're staying calm, you will utilize less air and allow yourself a few extra moments for responding. You'll definitely want to breathe normally instead of getting stressed out and consuming more air, working harder. So you'll definitely want to stay calm in an emergency. That way you can really effectively respond and get yourself to safety and get others to safety. So for more general scuba diving tips, definitely check out my Medium articles for this topic about scuba diving, for cave diving, life-saving tips. And then you could also check out my Medium article for scuba diving, life-saving tips in general. I put all of these videos in writing on medium.com, so you could find them all in writing. And then the link is provided below. And you can also check out the video as I posted them to YouTube as well. Scuba diving does have risks, and so you'll really want to make sure that you have the proper certifications, the proper training, and you're definitely with an experienced dive buddy and dive team. So if you really want to learn more about scuba diving, my favorite scuba diving channels are most definitely Dive Talk on YouTube and Mr. Ballin on YouTube. Mr. Ballin also has scuba diving videos because he was a Navy SEAL in his past, and like me, I really think that the military are pretty awesome badasses, and so it's really a great YouTube channel that you should definitely check out. So definitely check out Dive Talk and Mr. Ballin. They are great, and they're definitely my favorite for watching videos about scuba diving and really learning, what not to do based on case studies about diving and videos about diving, and learning from the mistakes of others, and then you can have a safer dive. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.